I went from a 0.7 KD player to a 1.5 KD player in Warzone. I did this by investing in some equipment and changing some of my settings. In this video, I will go through some of the audio settings that I've really found useful and really give you some knowledge on how to dial in your audio settings regardless of what game you're playing. So first, you have to understand your equipment. Are your headphones bass heavy or high pitched? Do they have surround sound or just the standard left and right channel? This information helps further down the line when looking at EQ. To really get directional sound, you need to have headsets that support surround sound 7.1. You have to turn this setting on in Windows or your gaming console. I will go through the steps of how to do this quickly on Windows 11, but all other operating systems should have similar steps. Go to your sound settings by searching it on your computer, scroll down to Advanced and click on More Sound Settings. This will open a playback dialog box. Select your headphones and click on Configure. Here you can select the sound output to 7.1 and then click Next, 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 and then Finish. You have to make sure you do this with all audio equipment individually and also sometimes when there is a driver update actually. Make sure to help us out at Double Take Tech by hitting that subscribe button if you're getting value out of this video, and maybe be a bit brave, hit the like or dislike button to your pleasing. For the next part, you need to understand the audio equalizer and what all the frequency ranges translate to. For example, the lowest frequency up to roughly 60 Hz will give you your background bass noise. It adds depth to bass but can also be the noise in the background. For example, when you're recording a video, it could be a fan in the background, your CPU humming in the background, so that will get recorded. Between 60 and 200 Hz comes in bass. We all know what bass is, and this could help headphones with sound depth if they are on the higher side of the sound curve playback. From 200 to 600 Hz, you have your low mids, 600 to 2000 is your mid range, and so on. In most cases, you'll find things like footsteps fall between, I would say, around 50 to maybe 250, 300 Hz, as they are a deep bassy sound. On the higher end of the spectrum, you have things like shooting a silenced weapon, or maybe a squeal, or something that many gamers can't handle, a girl's voice. This is why in games like Warzone, you really shouldn't be using settings like boost high unless your headphones are very bass heavy. Talking about Warzone, here is a visualization of all the settings available in the game. This is something you need to consider for any game you play, as it could have an effect on your output audio. In my opinion, the two main options in Warzone are Midnight Mode, which is my preference, or the Studio Reference. As you can see from the graphs, the dynamic range on the Studio Reference is the best out of the two. What this actually means is the difference between the loudest sound and the quietest sound is the largest, which can give you the maximum flexibility in turning up and down certain sounds based on where they fall on the equalizer frequency chart. I find for my headsets, if I use the higher dynamic range, so Studio Reference, some of the louder noises start distorting, so I use the Midnight Mode. I am then able to readjust the EQ from my headset software or through an equalizer as detailed next. To get started with playing around with your EQ, get a couple of clips from your game in different situations. You can do this in a custom game on Warzone with some friends or bots, or maybe friends that are bots. As long as you get a few clear clips with footsteps audio coming and going, you will be fine to carry out the next step. Open the EQ available to you. This could be your headphone software or a third-party software like Audacity. Snap your video to one side of the screen and your headset software to the other side. For this part, it is very important to have your EQ settings and the playback EQ spectrum visible to help you guide on what sounds to increase or decrease. Play your video on loop and start adjusting the EQ as shown here. This will take multiple tries to get just right. You should be able to tell the difference in the audio as you're adjusting in real time. As you can see from this short section of just footsteps and no other audio, this is the area we want to turn up, and everything else stays at 0 or reduced to maybe 5 or 6 negative decibels maximum if it falls in areas that you have no interest in. So turn up what you want to hear and turn down what you don't want to hear. I guess I'm a genius. Make sure you save your newly fine-tuned EQ settings for the next time you jump in the game and start enjoying footsteps like never before. And remember, each game would give you a slightly different curve, so the settings should be saved with the name of the game just so you remember which setting to use for which game. If you found value in this video, please help us one more time, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and leave a comment. We'll reply to you personally. Till next time, over and out.